Right, so we welcome to the show Mike Knowlden and Josh Pollen, co-founders of Blanch and Shock. Hello to you guys.
Hi there.
Thanks a lot for joining us on the Food and Drink Show. Great to have you guys on, and really interested in what you guys do as well, because we have a lot of guests on the show from the what I would say the traditional to the slightly more non-traditional, and I guess in a way you fall into the slightly more non-traditional in the kitchen arena, don't you?
We do our best, certainly. We find that research is at the heart of a lot of what we do. So we're always looking for new experiences in dining and new ingredients to cook with, certainly. But there's also tradition, at the heart of what we do. But for example, we've really embraced the recent trend in foraging, for example. So wild ingredients have been really exciting for us in the last couple of years. Things such as sweet clover or ditanda or mugwort or meadowsweet, things that we have been cooking with a great deal recently. But what's interesting about that, I suppose, is that they're in some ways more traditional ingredients, but we're seeing seeing them return to the plate now.
Yeah, it's great coming around again. So what sort of flavours are you talking about with these kinds of plants, with the foraging? Is there anything interesting or different out there?
Yeah, we're quite interested in, well, we always have been quite interested in the use of hay, which always strikes people as quite a strange thing to be cooking with. But when they first actually taste it, they realise that there's quite a smell to it. And it smells kind of nutty and quite delicious, a little bit like bread baking. And this got us onto a strange area of research, looking at an aromatic compound, which is present in a lot of the different herbs that Mike was explaining, like meadowsweet and woodruff. And it's simply, it sounds sort of very unscientific, but it's actually really because we both enjoy the smell of cut grass, as a lot of people do. And then when we discovered that this was the compound that did it, we discovered all the other herbs that exhibited the same taste. And so a lot of our work is like that, sort of finding a memory or an association and then discovering what the science behind it is and then trying to explore it a bit, which is a lovely thing for us to be able to do.
It's an added level of experience, I suppose, isn't it, for people that are enjoying it as well?
Absolutely, yeah. People really like new things and they like an interesting flavour. And if we're lucky enough to have them experience it in the same way that we do, then it's very, very exciting for us. I suppose that's kind of why we do it. But yeah, people are very much more open to strange foods, to strange flavours and ideas behind food. And that helps us a lot. It means that we have a valid audience for this.
Can I just ask, the hay thing, I mean, how do you use hay then? We have a lot of chefs and we have a lot of amazing restaurateurs that listen to this show, but we also have normal layman man on the street who's absolutely useless in the kitchen. So give us what do you do with it?
Well, it's a lot easier to work with than you might imagine, really. Our favourite thing to do with it is roasting it. So we put it in the oven at, say, 180 degrees for about 15, 20 minutes. And depending on what we're doing, we take it to a different level of roast. And then a lot of the time we infuse it into dairy. So we'll do that to make a dessert, maybe a panna cotta out of it, and or a milkshake. We're currently serving hay and malt milkshakes at our pop-up.
Whoa, that's just... I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get my head around that. So we've got hay-infused desserts.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
We use it. It's actually it's an age-old tradition of using hay. I mean, a lot of people cook hams with hay and it's gone back, that's quite a kind of an old Northern European thing to do. So it's not completely new. It's just that we're trying to find ways of putting that, what we find a delicious flavour, into other things.
Yeah.
So it goes in meat stuff and we smoke fish over it. It's not just desserts. But they seem to be the thing that people kind of are most surprised by, I suppose.
And you guys, you're a catering company, but do you have a restaurant as well?
We don't, although we're working to set up a permanent space, but we're quite nomadic at the moment. So we've got several projects involving festivals coming up over the next few months. We'll be at Stand and Cooling, and we'll be doing a pop-up restaurant there, and we'll be doing the opening of Fierce Festival in Birmingham, which is a performance festival. So it kind of plays into our interest in collaboration.
And these pop-up restaurants are becoming quite popular. It's a trend that's certainly kicked off in Cambridge. We get quite a few of them coming through, and they seem to be quite popular and well attended. I guess it's probably ideal for you guys because this is the time at which people come out because they want to try something different, isn't it?
Yeah, we're seeing a great deal of pop-up restaurants all over the place, and certainly we've been involved in quite a few. They're kind of very exciting in that they present things in a completely new way. We see people working together in ways that they wouldn't normally, people collaborating with mixologists, collaborating with different designers, and it's certainly something that's on the rise at the moment.
So you guys are also able to predict trends of where food, flavours, all of that kind of stuff is going to go. How do you go about doing that?
Well, partly it's the fact that we're able to speak to people from so many different disciplines. So One network that we're part of that gives us a great deal of insight into what's going on is Courvoisier Future 500 network that brings together designers, brings together mixologists, architects, chefs, all sorts of people. And so we're constantly getting feedback from lots of different practitioners, and that's one way that we kind of are understanding what's coming next and what's happening now.
And can you give us an insight then into what is coming? What kind of things should we be expecting?
Oh, it should be a guarded secret, shouldn't it? But there's a lot of blurring of the lines between practitioners in food. There's a lot of bartenders making interesting drinks using tools in the kitchen. There's a lot of chefs getting interested in making drinks. So there's a kind of an opening up of techniques and ingredients and knowledge. And as with the collaboration, there's a lot of people now using social media to connect with people, using networks like the Courvoisier thing, to connect with other people who might kind of give them insights into things that they haven't tried before, but now realise they can. I mean, this helps build the new trends, I suppose.
And foraging is a trend that you think, well, it's certainly in at the moment. Do you think it's going to last for a while?
Well, I think what's interesting about foraging is partially how much it's kind of giving people information that they can take into their own hands. So people are beginning to realise what's growing on their doorstep. And I think in light of that, we're going to see it being something that more people will think about doing in local parks and maybe building into the food that they cook at home, which is really exciting.
I'd be scared to death of poisoning myself, I think.
Well, you do have to be careful and get appropriate information, absolutely. But the majority of things that you're picking are going to be safe as long as you have a field guide. That would be my recommendation.
But in a way, it's very similar to, buying any of the other kind of food that you want. If you were going to buy some meat, it would be very nice to find out as much as you can about it in an ideal world. Same with the vegetables. So in a way, it's just a nice example of a way that you can follow the same kind of ethics and shopping choices by pulling weeds out of the ground. You just have to check what they are first.
Well, guys, listen, it's been a pleasure to talk to you today. Many thanks for spending the time to come and talk to us on the Food and Drink Show. I appreciate it. If people want to find out more about you or they want to visit you or say hello, where do they get in touch?
blanchandshock.com is our website, or the Twitter Blanch and Shock is a great way of finding us. And about the Future 500 network, courvoisier.com.
Brilliant. And if you do happen to find yourself with a pop-up in Cambridge, make sure you give us a bell.
We would love to. Great to speak to you.
Thanks a lot for your time, guys. Bye.
No worries, man.
Thanks, bye.